Have you ever sat there staring at your phone, replaying every message, every pause, every look, asking yourself why he feels so close one moment and so far away the next? Why does he notice the tiniest things about you, then suddenly act like he is trying not to care? Here is the truth most people miss. When a man is deeply into you, he does not always become easier to read. Sometimes he becomes more confusing, more careful, more intense, because what he feels is real, and real feelings make people nervous. They make people protect themselves. They make people slow down, pull back, lean in, and test the emotional temperature before they fully show their heart. So if his behavior has felt mixed, strange, or hard to decode, stay with me, because what looks random often is not random at all. It is psychology. It is attraction mixed with fear, hope mixed with pride, desire mixed with hesitation. And once you understand what is really happening underneath his actions, you stop guessing and start seeing the pattern. In this video, we are going deep into 6 powerful behaviors men often show when they are truly captivated by a woman. Not shallow signs, not cheap tricks, real signals, quiet signals, the kind that reveal emotion before words ever do. And the last one may be the clearest sign of all, because it exposes whether this is just excitement or something much deeper that can actually last. One of the first things that starts happening when a man feels strongly about you is that he begins to reflect you without even trying. Most people think this only means body language, but it goes much deeper than that. He may start using the same expressions you use. He may copy your rhythm when you talk. He may even begin texting in a way that feels strangely familiar, like somehow your tone has rubbed off on him. This is not him playing a role. It is not him forcing connection. It is his mind trying to create emotional closeness by syncing with your energy. Human beings do this when they feel safe, drawn in, and deeply interested. If you are playful, he becomes lighter around you. If you are calm, he softens. If you are thoughtful, his words suddenly slow down and carry more feeling. Watch him in a room full of people. Does his body subtly turn toward you even when he is speaking to someone else? Does he match your smile, your pauses, even the little habits you did not think anyone noticed? That matters. And it becomes even stronger when emotion gets stronger. He may start listening to the kind of music you like, using phrases you say, or responding to situations with an energy that feels close to yours. That kind of matching is powerful, because people do not do it consistently with everyone. They do it with the person who has started to live in their mind. Keep watching, because this is often where emotional attachment quietly begins. And there is another layer to this that most people overlook. It is not only about copying your gestures or your words. It is also about him absorbing your emotional state. When you are happy, his whole presence seems to lift. When you are disappointed, he suddenly becomes more focused, more serious, more tuned in, even if you never asked him to. He starts reacting to your feelings almost like his system is linked to yours. That is not a performance, that is emotional resonance. It is one of the earliest and most honest signs of deep interest, because it happens below the level of planning. He is not sitting there deciding to mirror you. His body and emotions are doing it for him, and that is why it feels intimate. Over time, this can create a strange sense of familiarity between two people. You start finishing each other's thoughts. You laugh at the same exact second. You feel the same shift in mood without needing to explain it. That kind of harmony does not come from surface attraction alone. It comes from growing emotional alignment. So if you are wondering whether he is starting to fall, stop focusing only on what he says out loud. Watch whether he is becoming more like you in the quiet moments. Watch whether being around him feels like looking into a softer, more connected reflection of yourself. Because long before someone admits how much they feel, Their nervous system often tells the truth first. And once you notice that pattern, it becomes impossible to ignore because it reveals a connection forming before either of you fully names it. Then comes something more subtle and in many ways more meaningful. He starts letting you see pieces of himself that most people never get access to. Not all at once, not in one dramatic speech. Usually it happens in fragments. He tells you something small but personal. He shares a story that carries a little shame, a little fear, a little regret. He opens a door just enough to see what you will do with what is behind it. This matters because many men are taught early to stay composed, stay strong, and keep emotional weight hidden. So when he reveals something tender, something uncertain, something that makes him feel exposed, that is not casual conversation, that is trust trying to grow. He may talk about a time he doubted himself, a family issue that shaped him, a failure he does not usually mention, or a fear he still carries quietly. He is not asking for pity. He is watching for safety. Will you judge him? Will you dismiss it? Or will you make space for it? This is how emotional connection often builds for him. Not by saying, I am falling for you, but by slowly handing you pieces of his real self and seeing whether they are safe with you. And if you respond with warmth, attention, and calm, he notices. He may not say it right away, but he feels it. He remembers it. And he begins to trust you in a deeper way than attraction alone could ever create. You will often notice this most when his public self and his private self are different around you. Maybe everyone else knows him as confident, funny, controlled, always on. But when he is alone with you, something changes. He gets quieter, more thoughtful, more honest. He starts talking about his future, his doubts, the pressure he feels, the dreams he has not fully spoken out loud. That shift is huge. It means he no longer wants to impress you only from the outside. He wants to be known by you from the inside too, and that is rare. A man does not usually reveal his unfiltered self to someone he does not care about. He does it with the woman who feels emotionally important. Sometimes he will even say things like, I do not usually talk about this, or I have never told anyone that before. Believe those moments. Those are not filler lines. Those are clues that something real is happening. And here is what makes this even more powerful. He may still not be ready to label his feelings. He may still avoid direct romantic confession. But vulnerability is often his real confession. It is his way of saying, I feel close to you, I trust you, I want to let you further in, even if I do not yet know how to say all of that clearly. That is why these moments matter so much. They are not loud, but they are honest. And honest emotion, even in small doses, tells you far more than polished words ever could. Another sign that his feelings are getting serious is the way he pays attention. Not normal attention, intentional attention. The kind that remembers details weeks later and brings them back at exactly the right moment. You mention a favorite snack once and suddenly he remembers it. You casually talk about a hard day you usually have every month and he checks in when that day comes around. You tell a tiny story from childhood and later he brings it up with a smile like it mattered enough to keep. That is not random memory. That is emotional investment. When a man is deeply interested, your details stop being background noise. They become part of the way he sees the world. He begins storing pieces of you, your preferences, your moods, your stress points, your little joys, the things that make you laugh, the things that make you shut down. And what makes this special is not just that he remembers. It is that he uses what he remembers to make you feel seen. He references things because he wants you to feel how closely he is listening. He wants you to know your words land somewhere real with him. In a distracted world where most people only half listen, this kind of focus is intimate. It creates safety. It creates presence. And it shows that you are no longer just someone he talks to. You are someone he is studying with care because you matter to him more than he may be ready to admit. Sometimes this attention appears in the smallest ways, and that is exactly why it is so easy to underestimate. Maybe he notices the shift in your tone before anyone else does. Maybe he remembers what kind of day makes you withdraw and reaches out before you ask. Maybe he sends something simple that connects to a conversation you had long ago, and suddenly you realize he carries more of you in his mind than you expected. That is the difference between casual interest and deep interest. Casual interest notices what is obvious. Deep interest notices what is specific. He is not only looking at you, he is learning you. He is building a mental map of who you are, and he does it because your inner world has become important to him. He may walk past the place you love and think of you instantly. He may hear a song you once mentioned and smile without meaning to. He may even save certain thoughts just to bring them up on a day when you need them most. That timing is everything. It shows not only memory, but care. It shows he wants to connect in a way that feels personal and real. And if you keep seeing that pattern, do not brush it aside. A man who is emotionally moved by you will not only admire your beauty or flirt with your presence. He will remember your stories, your patterns, your silent signals, and the things that matter to your heart. That kind of attention is not light. It is one of the clearest windows into how deeply you have affected him. Then there is the language of the body, the truth people speak when their mouth is still being careful. A man can filter his words, he can choose what to say, what to hide, what to delay, but his body often gives him away. Start with direction. When you are near him, does his body naturally angle toward you? Do his feet point in your direction even when he is part of another conversation? Does he lean in without thinking when you start speaking? These are small things, but they matter because the body turns toward what it wants. At proximity to that, a man who feels little will usually keep a comfortable distance. A man who feels a lot slowly closes the gap. He sits closer, stands a little nearer than necessary, finds reasons to stay in your space. Not in a forced way, not in a loud way, but in a natural pull that keeps drawing him back toward you. Then watch what happens to his physical habits. He adjusts his shirt, fixes his posture, runs a hand through his hair, touches his face, straightens up when you arrive. These are classic signs of nervous energy mixed with attraction. His system is trying to rise to the moment. And then there is the eye contact, which says more than most people realize. If he looks at you a little too long, glances when he thinks you are not looking, or softens when your eyes meet, something emotional is happening beneath the surface. Stay with this, because the smallest cues often reveal the biggest feelings. Sometimes the most honest body language is not bold at all. It is quiet. It is in the way his expression changes when you walk in, the way his smile appears before he can control it, the way his shoulders seem to relax when you are near, or the way they tense when he suddenly becomes aware of how much you affect him. Watch his hands too. When someone feels emotionally activated, their body looks for release. He may tap his fingers, play with a ring, rub the back of his neck, shift in his seat, or fidget in little ways that show internal tension. Not bad tension, emotional tension, the kind that says, this person matters and my body knows it. You may also catch him mirroring your movements again here, taking a sip after you do, matching your posture, adjusting his pace to yours. That is not a trick. It is alignment happening in real time. And perhaps the most revealing moment of all is the unguarded smile, that brief, soft smile that shows up when he watches you laugh, talk, or simply exist in front of him. It is not the polite smile he gives everyone else. It is warmer, less controlled, more honest. These moments pass quickly, but they tell the truth. So when you are trying to understand how he feels, do not just listen harder, observe more closely. His body often says what his pride is still trying to hold back. And once you learn how to read those quiet signals, you begin to see just how much emotion can live inside even the smallest movement. Now we get to one of the most misunderstood behaviors of all. When a man starts caring deeply, he often begins to test emotional safety, not to play games, not to make you prove yourself, but to answer one serious question inside himself. Can I be real here? Can I bring my full self to this connection and still be accepted? These tests are usually subtle. He may reveal a thought that feels a little risky. He may make a joke with a vulnerable edge under it. He may show you frustration, insecurity, or a mood he normally keeps hidden. And then he watches. Not in a cold or manipulative way, in a careful way. He is trying to see whether your connection can hold truth, not just charm. This is where many people get confused, because the behavior does not always look romantic on the surface. He may pull back briefly, he may become a little quieter, he may stop performing and show a rougher, more honest side of himself. And if you do not understand what is happening, it can feel like distance. But often it is not distance, it is exposure. It is him wondering whether he is safe enough to be imperfect with you. That is a huge moment, because attraction can survive on chemistry, but love needs safety. If he is serious about you, he does not only want to know whether you like his best side. He wants to know whether you can handle his real side too. This also shows up around boundaries and reactions. He may lightly challenge something, share an unpopular view, or show a side of himself that is not polished just to see whether the connection can hold steady under tension. Not because he wants conflict, but because real closeness needs room for truth. He wants to know if you can stay grounded, if you can respond with honesty and warmth instead of harsh judgment. He may speak about past pain in a careful way, not asking to be rescued, but quietly checking whether you will look at him differently once you see where he has been hurt. He may even reveal emotions he usually hides, like sadness, confusion, pressure, or disappointment. Those are powerful moments. If a man lets those feelings appear in front of you, even briefly, it means your presence matters to him more than his image does in that moment. And if you meet that with calm and care, something shifts inside him. He begins to trust not just the attraction, but the emotional ground beneath it. That is how deeper love starts. It does not start with perfect lines or dramatic confessions. It starts with the feeling that this person is safe enough for the real me. So if he seems to open up, retreat a little, then open up again. Do not always assume you are getting mixed signals. Sometimes you are simply witnessing a man trying to build trust slowly, because what he feels is important enough to protect. And then there is the sign that separates temporary excitement from something that can truly grow: consistency. This is where everything becomes clear. Anyone can be charming in the beginning. Anyone can send sweet messages for a few days. Anyone can create sparks when everything is easy, new, and emotionally light. But when a man is genuinely invested, his effort does not disappear when comfort arrives. He keeps showing up. He follows through. He becomes steady. If he says he will call, he calls. If he says he will be there, he is there. If you are having a hard week, he does not vanish until your energy becomes fun again. He stays connected, maybe not perfectly, because no one is perfect, but clearly, reliably, intentionally. That kind of steadiness is powerful because it removes confusion. You do not have to decode him every day. You do not have to wonder whether the version of him you saw last week will disappear this week. His actions begin to form a pattern, and that pattern says more than any big promise ever could. Real emotion repeats itself. It does not only appear when the mood is right, it becomes a habit of care, a rhythm, a presence you can feel over time. And that matters, because excitement without consistency creates anxiety, while genuine love creates a deeper sense of calm, even while it is still growing. Consistency is not always loud. Often it is built from small repeated moments that slowly become impossible to ignore. It is the message that checks on you without needing a reason. The way he remembers to ask how something important went. The way he still shows interest even when life gets busy, schedules get messy, or the conversation is not glamorous. It is how he handles ordinary days, not just exciting ones. It is how he responds when you are tired, stressed, quiet, or not at your best. A man who is truly serious is not only drawn to your highlights, he wants the full picture. And he proves that by staying steady across time. He does not run hot and cold for no reason. He does not disappear and reappear expecting you to ignore the emotional whiplash. If something is wrong, he addresses it. If you are hurt, he notices it. If the connection matters, he protects it with action. That is why consistency is such a powerful sign. It creates trust. It creates emotional safety. It shows maturity without needing to announce it. And in the end, that is what makes love believable. Not intensity alone, not chemistry alone, but repeated care, repeated honesty, repeated effort. So if you want to know how he really feels, do not only look at how high he rose in the beginning. Look at how steadily he walks beside you after the novelty fades. That is where true intention becomes visible. So when you step back and look at the full picture, what do you see? Do you see a man whose energy starts to mirror yours without effort? Do you see small moments of vulnerability that feel real and not rehearsed? Do you see someone who remembers your details, watches your moods, and pays attention in a way that makes you feel known? Do you see body language that keeps leaning toward you even when his words are still trying to stay calm? Do you notice those quiet tests for emotional safety? Those little moments where he seems to ask, "Can I be real with you and still be accepted?" And most importantly, do you see consistency, not once, not twice, but over time? Because that is what turns interest into trust and trust into something deeper. If you are seeing these patterns, then what is growing between you may be more real than you think. But if you are always left anxious, confused, or emotionally tired, do not ignore that either. Real connection does not have to feel perfect, but it should not feel like a constant puzzle. The right kind of love does not only excite your mind, it settles your nervous system. It makes you feel seen, safe, respected, and chosen in the small moments that other people overlook. And that is the part so many people miss. So here is what to do next. Stop chasing words and start studying patterns. Stop getting lost in one intense moment and start looking at the full emotional rhythm. Watch how he shows up when things are easy, and watch even more carefully how he shows up when they are not. Listen to your own body around him. Do you feel calm or chaotic? Do you feel grounded or constantly unsure? Do you leave his presence feeling more secure in yourself or more drained from trying to read him? Those answers matter. Raise your standard for what connection should feel like. Not louder, better, more honest, more steady, more respectful, more clear over time. Because the kind of love worth trusting is not built on guesswork. It is built on presence, truth, emotional safety, and effort that does not vanish after the first spark. So if this made something click for you, hold on to that clarity. Rewatch these patterns in your own life. Let them sharpen your instincts. Let them remind you that attention is not the same as intention, and attraction is not the same as investment. The man who is right for you will not only catch your eye, he will earn your trust. He will reveal himself through care, through honesty, through patience, and through consistency that keeps showing up long after the first excitement fades. And that is where something real finally begins.